have them last on the agenda. We have, looks like everybody's on here, right?
Yes,
Yes, just joined. Okay, thank you, Martha.
good morning.
I'll call this meeting of the Executive Committee to order. Aaron, call the roll.
Mayor Bennett,
Present.
Paul Goodrich. Hi, I see.
I'm here. Sorry, trying to figure out how to work this.
No problem. Mayor Noak?
Here.
Thanks. Carolyn is not going to be in attendance. Ann Sheehan?
Here.
And Diane Williams.
Present.
Do have a quorum. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of November. I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved, Noak.
Second, Diane.
Moved and seconded. Aaron, call the roll.
Mayor Bennett,
Aye.
Paul Goodrich,
Aye.
Mayor Noak,
Aye.
Carolyn Schofield, Ann Sheehan,
Yes.
and Diane Williams.
Yes.
The motion carries. The next item is the financial statements for September.
Yes, and those are just made available for, it says approval, but they're informational, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. No, the financial statements are for action.
Oh, right. Sorry.
I think we have two in there, September and
Right.
October.
October, correct. Entertain a motion to approve those.
So moved, Noak.
Second, Sheehan.
Moved and seconded. Aaron, call the
Mayor
roll.
Bennett,
Aye.
Paul Goodrich,
Aye.
Mayor Noak,
Aye.
Carolyn Schofield, Ann Sheehan, and Diane Williams.
Yes.
And the motion carries. Items under grants and procurements are just for informational. Oh, no, they are also for approval, right? Under grants? Yes, that's upcoming. Angela?
We didn't have any procurements this month. We're not anticipating any next month. So it's just light in terms of procurement. So yeah, we just need approval on what's there.
Moved.
So
I'm
moved.
sorry. Yeah, moved. Is there a second? I'm sorry.
Second, Sheehan.
Moved and seconded. Aaron, call the roll.
Mayor Bennett,
Aye.
Paul Goodrich,
Aye.
Mayor Noak,
Aye.
Carolyn Schofield, Ann Sheehan,
Yes.
and Diane Williams.
Yes.
And the motion carries. Main purpose of this meeting right now is the audit. Angela?
Yes, in interest of time, I'll let just Martha kick off the 21 audit and how it went.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. So as Angela mentioned, I'm Martha Trotter. I'm the Senior Audit Manager for the CMAP financial statement audit, and I'll be presenting to you what you should have received for review, the annual financial report for the fiscal years ended June 30th, 2021, with information provided for June 30th, 2020 comparatively as well. So just to give you a little bit of background, we began our audit planning in May of 2021 and performed the bulk of our testing. So our audit fieldwork procedures were performed in September and October. And I have for you today the preliminary draft of the financial statements, which hopefully you've had a chance to review. We've also provided the board communication, and there are a couple additional items that we will be assisting with that we don't have available for you yet. But in addition to the audit and the board communication, we assist with the comptroller annual financial report and submission to the state comptroller, as well as the providing an in relation to opinion on the GATA cipher report. So those are in process. My main focus today will be to review the annual financial report and to kind of give you the key takeaways based on our audit procedures. So I am pleased to present to you, based on our audit testing performed, CMAP has received an unmodified opinion, or a clean opinion. Basically, this is the highest level of opinion we can provide. So this means that the financial statements that you have for review are materially can be relied upon based on the testing that we performed. That's the highest level of opinion we can provide. In addition to performing our testing in regards to generally accepted auditing standards, based on the agency's level of grant activity, we conduct an audit in accordance with the generally accepted governmental auditing standards, and this is pertaining specifically to the grant activity. So in addition to the financial statement audit, the latter portion of the report is the single audit, where you'll find the opinions in accordance with the generally accepted government auditing standards. In our testing of the specific grant audits, we noted no instances of non-compliance, and we had no items that came to our attention that would rise to the level of significant deficiency or material weakness. So we have no issues that arose that caused any concern. So that's what we have for you and included in the audit report. So no items to disclose to you at this time related to that. And that was also included in the board communication, the separate report, separate from the annual financial report. There are no instances of material weaknesses or significant deficiencies that we noted that need to be addressed based on the procedures that we performed. Are there any questions or any items that you would like me to review specifically in regards to the annual financial report or to the board communication?
None being.
If you want the high level overview of the audit, read the manager's discussion and analysis. I draft that every year. It's a highlight of what we've done this fiscal year. What are the what's impacted our financials, and usually that's what Jim would recommend the board read. It'll give you the high level numbers and talk of the audit.
Yes, as Angela mentioned, the management discussion and analysis is included within the annual financial report, and that is following the independent auditor's report. That's a very thorough analysis that adds a little bit of context to the changes in the numbers and provides some additional comparative analysis that's not included within the footnotes to the financial statements or the statements and schedules themselves. I guess one other item I would like to add is that there were no GASB pronouncements that were implemented during the fiscal year, so there's no impact in the financial reporting related to any pronouncements that were implemented for this fiscal year.
Thank you, Angela.
I would just say congratulations, Angela. A great report as always. I mean, that doesn't happen just because people are there. It happens because you do all the right work. So thank you for that.
Thank you. My partner in crime, Molly. I have to thank her too. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks to both of you. I know, again, this is the second year we've conducted the audit virtually, and I think successfully virtually. So it's been a team effort. So again, thanks to the auditing team as well for accommodating us virtually. I think, again, we're learning new things, but next steps, this is just, we're receiving this here, but we'll bring it to the February board in totality.
Yeah. I believe that's it. But if you have any questions, you can reach out to me.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
The other item that is in need of discussion is after the full overview of the federal funds coming to the region, the local contributions is something that we need to discuss, pay attention to, because it is a parlay to accessing additional funding. And Erin, you want to give an overview?
Yeah, so historically, the CMAP region has gotten most of its match to federal dollars from the state. In 2016, the agency implemented a local dues program. The local dues program actually is something that almost every other MPO across the country had in place, but for whatever reason, CMAP hadn't, because the way that CMAP was created, it grew out of the state. So there was some commitment, and there was an unfunded mandate in the general, the state.
You said the key word, unfunded mandate. That was,
so we would love to get, when this agency was created, the thought was we will get some general fund revenue to match all of the federal funds that come to the region, and therefore we wouldn't need local dues. Well, a few years later, it's like, okay, well, we probably need local dues to match all of the federal dollars coming to the region. Angela and I have been working with IDOT with the increase in the federal bill. Essentially, we will reach a point where we don't have enough dollars, local dollars, to match those federal dollars. We have lots of federal money, but can't match federal money with federal money. So when we contemplated the dues being, and I wasn't here, so Angela, you can correct me if I'm wrong, the dues being put into place in 2016, we had contemplated that when the decennial census gets put in place, the dues is a formula based on capacity and also based on population across the region, which is, again, pretty typical for MPO dues across the country. And so what is it, like, how many cents per capita? Do you know off the top of your head, Angela?
Well, I don't know the cents. Molly, do you have it in hand? But yeah, we did. We increased the cents in addition to we reviewed where the census changed by municipality and county.
And so there are obviously communities across our region that don't pay any local dues, but if you, we can produce a report, the dollar value ranges from $50 anywhere to the counties pay the most. Our transit operators also pay. City of Chicago pays, I think it's $110,000 in dues. So we do need to, over the next year, discuss how we increase local dues. This year, Angela and I have been working with IDOT. They are going to cover the increased match that's necessary for us, given the infrastructure bill coming into place. But, from talking to some of the peers across our peers in Illinois, some of the things that they do that we don't do is that we index the gas tax, right? We could do some indexing of our dues so that there's some regular small increases over time. I mean, I certainly don't want to shock communities and just double the dues outright. So we have time this year to contemplate what the best strategy is forward. But I wanted to raise it here with the executive committee of the board, hear any sort of initial thoughts, but recognize that this is something that we will need to do some discussion about. At the same time, we've been talking internally about getting out to all of our councils of governments and our partners to sort of talk about all of the different work that we do and the dollars that we program for them across the region and the value that we add before we sort of say, and we need your support to make sure that we're bringing home more federal dollars for the region. So thoughts, questions?
Aaron, you have an estimate of what, at least now, what would be the financial match required, correct?
Yeah, so right now our local dues annually are about $880,000. Largely I think we need to double that. Angela, is that right, to make the match work?
Yeah. We're recommending a little bit under 1.5 million. If you recall the memo that the board approved back in 2016, we're kind of aligning with that model and that dollar amount that was approved by the board back in April of 2016, I believe.
So some of the other things, like I said, we could talk about a phase-in approach. I think we could talk to our state partners about this year. They're giving us that full match that will leverage those. Is there a 2-year process by which we continue to get state assistance for these additional dollars and resources that we need? So maybe we're only looking at a modest increase over the next few years, but eventually we would get to that full match that's necessary.
So I would just say, and thank you, Chairman, because you asked the question, my first question, which was sort of what money were we looking at? But I think the key is just to communicate to people as early as possible so that they can prepare and sort of, plan according to that increase.
Yeah, the amount of dues match represents how much, Aaron, in actual federal dollars coming into the region as an increase?
So, I'm sorry, Chairman. So we normally get $3.5 million. To match the amount we're requesting in the budget, we need 4.6 million. So it's a little bit over $1 million more than what we would normally get.
Correct. I mean, but what does that represent increased percentile coming in federal funds to the region. That's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah, it's-
I think it was what, 20, the region's going to get what, about 20% more.
that's the message, I guess, as we begin the conversation with our partners, is what that parlay or what that additional assessment represents in total dollars coming to the region. That's a key component. And I'm still not giving up hope on going to the state to do something they should have done 17 years ago, and that's a minimal funding of our agency, at least to create the match needed going forward. So I'm not taking that off the table either. So
I
Yeah, that would be great.
agree. And I brought that up at the last meeting that we had with all of the state MPOs as well. So my goal is in the first quarter here is to convene a subset of MPOs, because all of the MPOs statewide would benefit from having that state match that they.
right, we have not done it just for us. It was for and by on behalf of all the MPOs. And I think right now, timing could be good. I mean, certainly the state knows the type of monies that are coming into the region, and you've got to have people to plan and to execute contracts and agreements and use that money properly. So we should be in a better position, I would think. There's a lot of money being not tossed around, but a lot of things are going to not directly a project, but to for planning and for other associated activities that would take place with some of that money. So I'm hoping we can have a conversation. I'd be certainly glad to be at the table, Erin, anytime you can arrange to meet whether it would have to be an administrative thing or again back to a legislative thing, which we tried some years ago, whether the governor would have the authority to just incorporate that as part of a sub, a sub department or sub contract with one of the agencies. So we need to discuss that. And it's only, they're in for a short period of time too. They're going to be out of there by April 1st. So we need to, if we're going to do that, I think we need to make some contacts and find out how possibly that can come about.
Yeah, so we're talking with our Ledge Affairs team. So basically this is the entree to this conversation. We'll come up with some different strategies and approaches in terms of how we might affect this. And I think bring this back to the executive committee, but eventually we need to bring it back to the whole board for discussion.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Any other comments, discussions, questions? All right, we'll see everybody in a month. And with that in mind, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Oak.
Second, Diane.
Moved and seconded. Erin, call the roll.
Mayor Bennett,
Aye.
Paul Goodrich.
Aye.
Mayor Noak. Carolyn Schofield.
Aye.
Thank you, Mayor Noak. Ann Sheehan.
Aye.
And Diane Williams.
Yes.
The motion carries. Again, everybody stay safe. We'll see you next month.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.